Welcome to a new series on making desktop applications in C Sharp. So, welcome to the series. This series is gonna be a little bit shorter than usual, but I feel that it should give a good idea of how to make GUI, or it is called as graphical user interface, um, and just have a workaround in the UI of C Sharp, because in the tutorial series we have learned the basic concepts of C Sharp, and we tried to make an application out of it which calculates taxes for the citizens. So in this series we're gonna just take that code and convert it into uh, something which can actually work as a desktop application. So this series, that's why will be shorter, because we have already written code which should serve as a bone structure for our application today. So a couple of things before we directly jump into coding, that there are two types of applications you can make using C Sharp: desktop applications. So one is WPF and the other one is WinForm, or Windows Forms. So WPF is newer with today's standards. Even Visual Studio is made on that. It is more flexible and it is not dependent on the Windows controls, which we'll get to it later on. And you can use XAML. If you don't know, it's kind of a scripting language which you can use to make UI in general. And then there's Windows Forms, which is an older technology, but it is easier to make than WPF. For a beginner, it is, what I feel is, it's easier to start in Windows Forms, and it has been in the industry for quite a while. I mean, even WPF has been in industry for quite a few years now, but Windows Forms goes like way back. So there is just a lot more support, tutorials, documentation available on Windows Forms than WPF, in my opinion. Again, you can always comment down and correct me, but of what I have seen and of what I have read before making this, I think that Windows Forms will be the best way for now as a beginner to learn. But as we move on from Windows Forms to WPF in another tutorial series which I'm planning, I think will be good to go. So, what are we going to do in this series? So, as this is just an introduction video, I'm just gonna introduce you to stuff, and we're just gonna make the project and leave it there. From the next video, we'll import the code which we wrote in the C Sharp beginner series. If you didn't follow that series and you don't feel like you need to, because you already know the basics of C Sharp, I have put a link in the description below which has that code. So you can just use that code to continue with us. And then we're going to make some amazing UI for our software. We are going to use Windows Forms, obviously, as I stated in this series. And we will also come up with a rudimentary login system. Obviously, it won't be as secure, but just something for you guys to have fun with. Uh, I won't. I don't even recommend using this login system in your application, actual application. Like if you go in the market, in the industry, and you're asked, I need a login system or something, and you make this, it's not gonna work. There is just a lot more things which I'm not gonna cover, because I feel as a beginner you just need to have some fun, make some cool software which you feel can improve upon. So every single thing in the series, starting from UI, some database management, maybe we'll do the login system. Industry expects a lot more refinement, a lot more robust thing than this, than what we are gonna do in this series, because the main objective of me in this series is just to get you comfortable with making a desktop application. So don't expect these to be really well built and directly ready readily available for the industry to use. So that being said, I hope the disclaimer is quite clear. uh, let's get started. So, okay, is there anything else? No. Okay. So we'll just open up Visual Studio 2019 and we'll create a new project. So this time, let's just, yeah. So this time we are gonna make a Windows Forms application. You can scroll down in C Sharp and you can see Windows Forms application.NET Core. The WPF which I was talking about is this WPF app. If you have heard about Windows Universal Applications or something like that, which in which you can make cross-platform applications, it is through WPF and not Windows Forms. Windows Forms is just for Windows specifically. So I hope that's clear as well. Uh, if you guys want, I'll make a WPF tutorial series as well in the future. But for now, as we are starting again, I'll say we're gonna start with Windows Forms. So I'll click next. I'll say e-taxing because that is the name of. I don't know. I came up with that name, electronic taxing. We did a mistake, which is we started the Windows Form application in .NET Core. That's not what we have to do. We have to start it with .NET Framework. I really forgot about that. So I hope you make a correction on that. It's starting up. Yep, that should be it. So as you can see, is it recording? Yep, it's recording. So as you can see, we get here window, which I can resize and stuff. And then inside this, if I double click on this, okay, I can't double click on it. It is so sad. Yeah, so I get something like a designer as well. And if I double click on this, I get a form.cs file. So now what I can do, the best thing in Visual Studio is, okay, let's just resize it a bit. There is a thing here called toolbox and you can like explore this around. So you can add buttons and stuff, you can resize them, and if you run the program up here, it will start and it will build the solution. And then as you can see, you have a Windows application with a button in it. So this is super cool. And then there's all the code behind it, which we have a class which is inheriting from the form, and then we have a constructor, and we have also have a method which is an event. I'll explain these sometime later on, but for now, this is the best we can do in the first video. As you can see, there are many references which are being used, and it's a lot to take for now. Or I mean, you should be excited because now you can like legit go around, make stuff. Like for example, I can add a checkbox here. It's amazing, and this feels very empowering, in the sense that you can just drag and drop, resize, and directly make user interface without worrying about the relative positions and all that stuff. If you have done HTML, you will know it, like making it responsive and stuff. You just don't need to worry about it. It is handled by it is being handled. But as you can see, this is not quote unquote responsive for now, because we didn't make it responsive. But if you know how it is to design the front end of a website, like you have to write code for every single thing, you can still do it in this, to make sure you get what you want. Uh, but it this makes it much easier. And if you just make a few changes, the UI becomes responsive as well, again, which is for a later video. But let's get working on the next video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Comment down below if you are having any issue, any problem. I'm making a Discord server, and I think by the time the YouTube video is uploaded, uh, there should be a link down below because I'm in the process of setting the server up and stuff. I really want it to be good, and it is just for people like you and me who are learning new stuff. We are super beginners and we just want to discuss stuff, see, just a platform to discuss coding doubts and everything. uh, so make sure to join the Discord server. If you have any problems, I'll be active there most of the time, so if you have any problems, uh, make sure to post it down there, or you can comment below as well. And see you in the next video. Bye bye.